So I hope you are clear, like the thing that we did in our yesterday's class. So first of all, if you guys are not installed there is an extension called Prettier. So it will help you to align the documents very well. For example, if I do like this, and if I right click and format document, it will auto write my documents. So you can go to extension and this thing. Oh, I forgot to do that. Yeah, so I was talking that, yeah, now screen is visible, right? So I was talking that if you have not installed, there is an extension called Prettier. For example, if you like align, there is a misalignment in your code, and you can just right click and write, like click on format document. So this extension you can install from here and type Prettier. The first one that came with the blue tick mark is the one that you guys can install. So yesterday we did, is there someone else? So yesterday we did everything in this app.js. So now let's clean this up and make a separate folder for this. For example, this was a use state example that I made. So you can create a, so inside the source folder, we can create something like use state examples. Like it's your wish, you can name it anything. So this was a counter application, that's why I'm naming is counter. And it created a now I'll make a counter component, and let's clean up this code from the app because it's a good practice to keep your like the application like the app.js should not have any like components. So I will explain it further, like what it should contain. So for now, you can like cut this code and paste it in the counter, and also the div. You can return it. So return statement accept something. You can just write anything like an empty text. So use state is not used. So we can also cut and add it in our counter page. We can auto align this format document. So now my app.jsx is clear because I haven't because it's an empty. So we can actually call our component if we write C in this bracket and we type this. We have to make it capital first of all. And if we type counter, we'll get this hint like where there is a counter component in the use state example folder. So we can import it and it's already got imported. And after that, we will use the closing tag. Now, if I say we can see that the counter is again visible. So I just cleaned up my app.js and made it in a separate file dot counter counter.js. Okay. So nothing. nothing fancy added here. So let's start with so we'll start with props. So the props are a way to pass data from one component to other in React. So props got you can learn it like the properties. So we can basically pass the properties from one component to other, and it helps us to reuse our component. Well, like, for example, if a data in a component changes, so we do not need to create different component for each of them. We can do it with the help of props. So I can explain it with an example. So first of all, let's create a like, folder called props because I am creating an example. uh, Props. Let's create a parent.js and also create a children.js. So just write the template in it, parent, and similarly ref children. Okay. So go to app.js and we don't need counter because we have already done it. So you can comment it out or even remove it. Whenever you need that component, you can import it again. And let's uh, import my parent because we are like I want to explain it. So when we are about to write the parent, you can see that it present in the props folder and parent.js. Now with the closing tag and the parent is imported. So the parent.js. Yeah. So so what we have done is we have imported the parent component here, and now let's code our parent component. So what I'll do is I'll create a div here and heading called parent component. So uh, create I'll pass my children here. You can see that the children component is called in this, and inside the children component there is nothing but a simple div with text children. So you can see that children is also coming. So we can copy it and many times. Okay. So it's showing us 3 times. So if I go to children, let's say write a text here, heading for children and the paragraph. This is my children. So let's save it. So we can see that this is our parent component, and inside it we have called the children component 3 times. But what if I want to write it here, children one, children two, and children three? So it's not like that we'll create. Okay, what if I did one here but it changes for all of it. So what you will do, you cannot just copy paste this code and make a new file and just call, because it will create a lot of mess if there is a if you are working on a big project. So what you can do is you can create a prop. So let me stylize it a bit. After then we can make it look better. And next, let's follow item center margin for right margin 20, 20 is too much. And inside the children, if we stylize it, class name, uh, we can make it flex column again, and let it width be 1/3, and items center, okay, and make this margin y, let's say 5, okay, and makes this text small. Right now, I just stylized it. So I just thought, so I told you that what if we want to write children one, children two, and children three. Right now, if we call the same component, it will show us the same. So what we can do with props is we can write, for example, you can name any, you can write anything. Let's say I'll write heading, and in the heading, I can write children one. And similarly, for the other tags, I can write children two. I'm sorry. And I copy paste it. Here I can add children three. So in my parent component, I called my children component, but I want to give the heading like children one and children two and children three. So now I have now in the children component, I will access it. So what we write is props. So props will get all the properties that are present here. If I can show you, if I can console.log and props. So it will be an object of all the properties. Let's say I go to inspect. Yeah, it's an object with a property called heading, right? So you already know that how to access any properties inside an object in JavaScript. You must have read it. So first we have to write in the curly braces and then props dot heading. And after that, if I save it, what we can say shows children one, children two, and children three. So are you getting till now what I got? So I pass the uh, properties in my parent component when I call the children's, and then I access the that properties using props dot heading. But there is a better way to do it because props dot heading sometimes someone use may not be able to get it. So what we can do is there is a concept that you must have read in JavaScript is D structure. So props is an object. So what we write is curly braces and let's say heading. So it will destructure like all the properties that are sent to it, and heading we can directly write heading here. Mm, let's save it. Now still we can see that children one name, children two, and children three, and we can even pass more properties. For example, if I currently have not added any background color, let's say I have a background color of gray 200. Now all of the children have the same background color. Give it a padding of white. But what if I want that all the children should have different background color according to my wish? So what I can do is I can here pass anything. Like you can write anything according to your wish. I'm writing color, and then let's say background red and shade of 300. I can copy it and let's say yellow shade of 300, and I can copy it, say gray. Let's make it 200. Okay. So I have passed the color. Now we can restructure it. Now we can write comma dot color. Now if I console log color, we'll see that in our inspect we get the colors like VG red, VG yellow, and VG red. Now I want to use it here, right? So right now, this may be new to you, like how we can add logic to our like class. So what we do is we first of all write a curly brace and then a backtick. This backtick is present on the first button above your tab, like the tab button. Above the tab button, there is a backtick button that you can press. So first of all, I need to wrap it in a curly brace, and after that, I need to change this to a backtick. I have changed this one, and now this one I will. Okay. Now we can see that this is not a JavaScript. So to insert a JavaScript in a JSX, what we can, I already taught you, we have to write dollar and then curly brace and color. Now this will be replaced by this, which is coming through the props. We can even delete it. So now let's see if the color changes for each of the background. So yeah, so you can see that we can pass any color of our wish, and only using the same component, we are able to make three different components with different data. So that's the main function of props. Like that's why we use it. So do anyone have any doubts? Otherwise, we can move forward. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, Ankush. Are you clear about it?
Yeah,
Like
actually, I'm getting it, but I'm not like able to do it right now because actually just now my current is came. Actually, power cut here was so. Can you give me the code after the class that like we
okay,
can
I can
connect
share it.
after class for 15 minutes?
Okay. So now
Okay, okay.
for like from the next topic you are following, or like I'm
Yes, yes,
going
yes. I'm
to a new
checking, but
topic.
this. This topic we just I didn't like follow up properly.
Okay. Now the next topic, like you can see, because it's completely
Mhm.
different from it. Okay.
Yes.
So we have done this children and so in the app.js we call the parent. Now we don't need it because I want to explain you something new. So let's create a new file dot notes.js. Okay. So what we'll be doing is we making a basic, like most basic notes app where you can add and delete the elements and you will be able to see the changes on the screen. So yesterday when I was teaching count useState, we saw that we entered a number, but we can enter anything inside it, like you can say a text, like a string, you can say a bool that is true and false. You can add a array, so you can add anything. So if I let's let's set nodes use. So currently I've added an empty array. So let's say inside the array we'll add something like some text called MERN, then Java, then Python. Okay. Now let's call this inside my app.js. Like you can remove the parent and uh, it has nodes. Yeah. And if I save it, nodes is visible on the screen. And after that, I'm. So are you guys like are you guys well versed with the JavaScript functions like the array functions? Right now I'll be using nodes.map. So if we have to use the JavaScript inside the React, we have to use the curly braces. And I'll go nodes dot map. So it's a function that you have read in JavaScript. And after that, let's say we can access the item and index. And after that, we need to return anything. Let's say a paragraph like this. Okay. In that div, there will be a heading that is item. And also, I want to add a button. Let's say first we do this, and after that, we can do it afterwards. Yes, yeah. Yeah, we can see that the list is getting printed on the screen. Now I want to add a button which will delete this list. So button, you can say delete, and so it's getting added. So we have to write flex because we want to display it vertically. Oh, horizontally. Yeah, we can make a space between them. Let's say space x5. So then also justify justify between. Yeah, right now it's gone too far because the width of our div is full. You can set it to width to 1/3, I guess. Let's say 1/4. Okay. This button small. Okay, border and and text should be small and add some padding.
So what is border? SM means
Uh,
text.
yeah, text SM means like the small. SM means small.
Small.
So
Okay.
yeah, so there are different properties in Tailwind CSS. Like text
Hmm.
LG is large, XL. So you can read that in the documentation.
Okay. Okay.
And anytime you are confused. Okay. So right now we have created a three list, and with there are three buttons, and let's add some margin while yeah. Now let's run off delete. Like let's work on delete function. Yesterday I taught that there is a on click property on every
Hmm.
attribute. So on click, and you can write delete note, delete note, and we have to create a function which actually deletes the note. So we go to function and then delete note. So I hope you guys are aware of that filter function that is provided in JavaScript. So what we can do is, yeah, notes is the list. So notes is actually a list, right? Because this is a default value and notes is a default value that we get. So it's a list. So we can go like notes dot filter. And actually we need the index or like how would we know that what we have to delete. So there is an index in the map function that we get every time, and we can pass it in the delete mode. But this will automatically run, right? As I explained yesterday, why. So to save this, we can convert this function into an arrow function. So that's how we write an arrow function. If we are not using arrow function, then this function will run automatically, even if we won't click on the button. So if we when we converted it to the arrow function, this will only run when we click on the button. Like when we click on the delete, this function will only run. Okay, so index is passed. So filter function by default have a properties like there is a element. First is the element that you can name it anything, and second is the index that you get of the array. So filter function will iterate over each index. Let's say one, two. Filter function will iterate over the each index one, two, and oh, 0, 1, 2, and then we have to give a logic that if index is not equal to the that index that we got from here, right? Because one index we are getting from here, another index we are getting from the filter function. So filter function will uh, will add only those elements for those who I is not equal to the index, which means that if if I so if the index here is one, right, and also here the index is one. So if one is not equal to one, then only it will add that into our set nodes. So it will avoid the MERN, and for whichever button we delete, so it will avoid the syntax. Like if you are not clear about the filter function, you can like try it in JavaScript again. Yeah. So it returns an array. What we want to do is we want to set our nodes to the newly returned array, right? So this function returns an array, and we'll set that into our nodes using the set node function that I explained yesterday. Now, if I save it and then try to delete, yeah, you can see that we are able to delete the elements. If after the refresh, the whole page will load and it will so it automatically sets the nodes to the default value. That's why it's getting all of it again. So any doubts still here? I want to. There is another thing that I want to add here. So any doubts, Ankush?
No, no, it is clear from my side, this topic. Delete
Okay.
option. My yes. Yes.
Mhm. So right now we are just deleting it. We have
Mhm.
not worked on adding it. How to add it in the list? Okay, so there is a new topic of forms. Let's say I created a form. So form is also there in HTML that you must have read. So form, let's say input and then an add button. So let's make the type of the form to be text and placeholder. Enter your node. Let's see how it. Yeah, you can see that we are able to see it. Now let's make it flex to make it to display it in a horizontal manner. No, not here. Yeah. And then outline to then let's make a border. Yeah. Right now we have created a normal text button, like the input space. Let's say two. Yeah, that's a basic part we have done here. Say border, padding and stability. So what I want to do is when I add something here and click on add button, I want that gets added to my list and it should be visible here. Okay. So if I try to do it, obviously it won't work here. So first I need to, so in React, but for forms, what we do is, so we have to give a value so that we are telling the React that, so this is the value that you have to work on. So for example, you have to create a new use state snippet, uh, text. By default, its value is set to null. Like empty. After this, this value is added here. Now, if I try to like currently I'm pressing on the keypad, but it's not working because we have set the value to text and we are not even changing it. So for changing it to let the React know that we are changing the value, there is a we have to write on change. Okay. So on change, you have to write the arrow function where e dot target dot value. Okay. So what this does is this gets us the value that we are typing in it. So now if I try to change it, okay, e dot target
So
text.
for set the text in that for that parameter is the target value.
What you are saying?
So after you gave no arrow function, uh, instead of e dot targeted value, you have to write set text.
Yeah, yeah,
Inside that you have
yeah. I was about to do it. I thought you were asking. So set text. Okay, so currently, if we try to add anything, so we are able to write it in the input. And now our next step is to create a function for the add button, right? So when it's clicked, we'll run our add function. Let's say add notes, and then function add notes, and after that we'll write set notes. So are you aware of it, right? What it does is, so it copies all the previous array and it adds, so it will add this text into our already copied previous array. So if I write anything, it will copy it, it will make a new array and it will append it here. Anything that we will write here. That's why we are doing this. So if I think we're done this, if I try to write something, yeah. So right now we saw that when we typed it, we when we end after that we run the add function. So it added for like a few milliseconds and after that it reloaded. So so by default, input have a nature that it reloads when we submit the button, right? So when we submit, it reloads and again it sets everything to the default value. That's why it's already, for example, again, if I write anything, it will set it to our default value that's present there. So to prevent this in our add node, what we do is we have to write event dot prevent default. And if I try to save here and write anything, new notes. Now, yeah, now it won't reload because I have stopped its natural behavior and it won't reload using this even down prevent default. Now, what if I want to uh, make it initial, like I want to make it empty after I click on add. So what we can do is after I click on add, we can write set text even empty. And now if I write anything, it will again set to null, you can say, or an empty string. And right now if I delete, okay, it's working. If I try adding, it will also add an empty text, right? So to prevent this, you can give a small logic that if nodes dot trim, so the trim function removes all the white spaces from the starting and ending of of a string. And what we want to do is if nodes dot trim is not equal to an empty string, then only we want to run this function. Okay. So currently, if it's empty, say that node, okay, node dot print is not a function.
For text dot trim, I think.
What?
To hold the input value, it is text dot trim.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm working on the array. Yeah, it's a good thing. Yeah, so we have to write text dot trim. Now, if I try to add something, it won't show because it's an empty string. And we can also create a small dialog with alert box, which will say that means and the string. After that, if we say please enter a string, and if we write anything, let's add in and delete it. So that was the like a most basic functional application that you can create. So any doubts, anyone? Ankush, you got it. Hello.
Hello. Yes, sir. I got the like uh, some matlab, got it.
Hello.
Hello, am I audible?
Like yeah, now you're on.
Actually, I was saying that I got the like I got the got it. Like no doubt is there, but I need the code actually. I'll check the recording once, I guess.
Yeah, so you can this part you didn't go along with me, right? So this
समझ
part
मतलब
you
समझ
got
में
it.
आ गया ये काफी मतलब आपने बहुत अच्छी तरीके से समझाया है समझ में आया
Okay. Like from
गॉट इट
from tomorrow onwards, like try to code along with me.
yes
You can
actually
quickly.
today there was a problem with the power in my area actually in this
Okay.
time just now like current is came.
Okay. So I can explain you the props if you want, because I won't be
Yes.
starting any new topic today. Okay, so
Okay, so when
first of all,
right now
yeah, it will take just 5 6 minutes, not much. So you got it now, right? How we can call the
yes
components in
got you.
other. So that was the
Hmm.
props. I made a parent component. That's why. So this is the you can say that props are the way to.
Hmm.
Yeah. So with the help of props, we can parse the data from one component to other, and we can make our component reusable. Okay. So for example, if I go to the parent.js and if I, let's say, point this out. Let's see. Yeah. So you saw that if I want to, so what I did here was, so this is our parent component, and I called our children component 3 times. So it will show us, obviously it will show us the same component 3 times. But what if I want uh, to have, so I want the children component to have different data. Even though the code is written only once, but I want to have something like it should say children one, children two, and children three. And also, what if I want to have a different background colors for each of them? So this is why props is helpful. So what we have to do is if we when we are writing the children component here, so we have to give any property name. Let's say I want to give it heading, and let's say children one. Sorry. And similarly, children two and children three. So right now I've called the children 3 times, and each of them I've created a different heading that I want to use. So in here we can in the children component we can access our props, writing prop. Okay. So what is prop? So it's a object that we get. So if I try to console to print it, means now let's previous. So now, so we are getting heading, right? So props will get, so let's say if I again make a new prop like background color, PG red, and if I copy paste it, so right now I have passed two different properties that I want to have. Like every component should have a different properties of heading and color, like the background color. Now we can see that when I printed the props, if there are two, like there is an object and we are getting heading and color, right? So all we already know that to access any element inside the object, we have to we can write like props dot and the name of the property that we want to access, like the heading or the color. And if we write props dot heading, then we are getting a children one, children two, and children three. Because we pass the props, then after that it will goes into the props in a form of object, and after that to access the heading, we use props dot heading. Okay. So this is a method like the most basic method, but we avoid using it because we have to write props dot in every line, like when we are trying to access. So there is a concept of destructuring in JavaScript. So what we can do it, we can write the name of the properties that we want to access. We can directly write it. Okay. And after that, in my heading, if I directly write the heading, we can see that will still show us like children one, children two, and children three because we have destructured it. And now, if we want to change the color of each div, so what we do is we make a bracket and we change this quotes to a backtick. So this backtick is present on the top of your tab button, right? So first of all, we will wrap it in a curly braces. And after that, we will remove this and wrap it in a backtick. Now, VG grade. So we want it to be replaced by the color. Now, since we are using a like a JavaScript element, we have to write dollar ampersand color. So that's how we access any JavaScript element inside a class name. So you can do it with any of the properties here. You can pass different values here and you can access it here. Now you can see that all of the components, like all of the children have the different colors and different head. So it saved us the line, like the code of 3 files. Earlier we would have done it like the copied the same code and pasted in the another file and then write it like children do and different thing. So here we are able to do it in a single component. So that's the you can say the basics of props. We'll use it. We get used to it once we go like we start using some complex things. So did you get it or any doubts? Hello, do anyone have any doubts?
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir, no doubt. But actually I need the source code.
Okay, I will try to send you.
Okay. Are you pushing the code on GitHub?
Yeah, I have to make a repository and I'll push it. Okay.
Okay.
So I have already made it in a separate folder like useState examples. Yesterday we did counter.js. Today we make a simple notes and in props we added this one. So I'll be adding it in a same project. So I try to push it today and you can go through.
Okay. If you are pushing it today, please send me the GitHub link.
Yeah, I'll share it in the group itself.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Fine.
So I guess we should wrap it up. Next topic we can start from tomorrow.
Yes. Yes.
Like, I have to
Please,
see what
please do
we.
send me the code today so that I can practice once.
Yeah, sure, sure. Thanks.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll end the meet now.
Yes. Yes. Sure.